Alright guys, it's time for that 2,000 mile review on the Honda Rebel 500. I'm not at 2,000 miles. I'm lacking it by 60 miles. But I thought I'd go ahead and get it out of the way because I can. Stay tuned and we'll go over it. Okay guys, let's go ahead and get into this review. This review is a little different than a lot that you may see because it has added value. Alright, like I said, I'm just now coming up on the 2,000 mile mark, and I'll probably finish that off tomorrow and be at 2,000 miles because I'm going to be doing some more riding tomorrow. It's getting late in the day right now, so I'm not going to ride it. Alright, but here's the real product part. This bike has been trailered since July the 4th. I average 4,000 miles a week. So July, August, September, October. Okay, 3 months, 4, 8. That's 16, 32, 42. This has been trailered for 50,000 miles. That's a lot, right? I mean, that's a lot of miles to have a bike trailered because of all of the when you think about trailering a bike, you don't think about things like wear and tear of vibration, right? Now, this bike it's been in most of the states in America. It's ridden on some terrible roads. I mean, I've driven it on terrible roads. And I've ridden it everywhere. I mean, everywhere that I go, I unload my bike and ride it. Because I love this bike. I love everything about it except for a few aesthetic things. But you see that red truck right there? That huge monster-loving red truck? This is where it's trailered at. Right there behind the cab, alright? And it gets a lot of wear and tear doing that. Now, I can't say that there has been any adverse effects from having it trailered at all. So let's turn this off and go over everything that's in my opinion on this. Alright, there she is. She's dirty. She's dirty, rough. I haven't even cleaned the chain in the last 1,000 miles, right? I need to take that all apart and clean the chain. But there's only one problem that I've had. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. Right now, I'm just going to tell you about the bike. Performance-wise, the tires have held up wonderfully. Y'all know this is the CMX 500 Honda Rebel. Alright. Everything is held together. Nothing has came loose, tore up, or anything, right? I have had to add a little bit of coolant to this bike, and I have no idea why. It was a very hot summer, and it spit out a little bit of coolant out the overflow tube, so I don't know why, right? Initially, when I purchased this and started riding it, it did use almost a half quart of oil in its initial set-in period, getting broke in. That's fine. I haven't used any oil since, except for when I did my last oil change, and it was still at 100%. Everyone has talked about these soft brakes. Well, I finally have an opinion about the brakes, and I've rode it enough that I can have that opinion. Alright, I weighed 240 pounds when I bought this bike, and it was fine. I never felt that it was in any way, too soft. Now I've got a tendency to ride at much faster speeds because I'm used to the bike. And I do find that they're just slightly soft, but not in any way bad if you're riding sensibly. It's been a joy. It 100% has the power. I mean, I might be riding beside a Grom, but even compared to my bigger bikes, I enjoy this bike more than anything. The seat, everyone's talked about the seat feeling bad. It is. I find that at 100 miles, my butt is getting tired. So that might need to be upgraded to some kind of Mustang seat, as long as it's still aesthetically pleasing. Now, while we're talking about aesthetics, let's talk about that, okay? It's pretty. The bike's pretty. If you wanted to scramblerize it or cut the fender, it might, I mean, it'd still be the same bike, but it would still be pretty. Different bars. I mean, there's so many things you could do to it, but I find the way it looks pretty. Y'all know that I don't like the tank. But from a GoPro standpoint, if you're using not this mount, but a different one, it does a very aesthetically pleasing view. You know, when you're sitting here and you capture the tank going forward. It's nice. Still not a scrambler, but I love it. I do love it. Okay, y'all want to know what's been wrong with this bike so far? In 2,000 miles of riding this bike and 50,000 miles of being trailered and getting the agitation and shaking around and wind and rain and everything else, here's what's went wrong with this bike. Are you ready? The horn stopped working. The freaking horn stopped working. I plugged it back in. It works again. Alright, now it is a Honda, and you know that Honda has one little issue with sometimes they don't want to start, right? Now, if this has happened 3 times, now you know there's a little connector where everything goes into the butt plugs and goes on off to your starter and your fuel injection and all that, right? I believe that might be where the problem lies. I'm not sure. And here's why I'm not sure. Because every time it won't start and I turn the key back off and I turn the key back on, it cycles. And I can hear it pumping the fuel up and everything. And then it starts right up. Like I said, it's done it 3 or 4 times. It's turn key off, turn key back on, boom. But I think that might be where the problem lies. But I'm not going to mess with it at the moment because I'm not too worried about it. The paint's held up. I mean, I've put some dings on it, you know. I mean, right there, I put a little ding on it. That's my fault. Everything's been great. You know, people talk about the forks being too soft also. Now, I'll tell you, the only time I have found that these forks are too soft is when I've taken it off-road. And yes, guys, I've taken it off-road. I'm going to put some 70-30 tires on it and take it off-road more. Why not? But yeah, when you're going off-road, the forks they feel like they bottom out, but apparently they're not bottoming out all the way. But otherwise, I can't say enough good things about this bike. I am 6 foot tall. I feel that when you're sitting in this position on this bike, that you're kind of in a clammed position, which you would think isn't that comfortable, but it is very comfortable. I just don't know how to express that any better than it's comfortable, it's pretty, and it's a workhorse. And I'm probably going to keep it for another year because I'm enjoying it so much. I didn't initially buy this bike to keep it that long. I thought I'll ride it for a summer and then I'll let it move on and go to something else. But I might get another summer out of it before I move on, or hell, I might keep it forever. I believe that this platform is going to be a timeless platform for Honda, just like the original Rebel was a 31-year platform. I think that this could be a 31-year platform also. It's just perfect. That's my review on the Honda Rebel 500/300. If you got a 300, it's the same difference, except for the powerhouse is a little bit different. But that's it. You guys have a spectacular day.